Hey, I just wanted to let you know that there is something special at the end of this episode. This is an auction rescue episode, so we know you're going to enjoy it, but definitely watch it all the way through because there's a little something at the end.
This is Lucy that I'll be riding today. We have been working on not getting with our head and not randomly stopping and wanting to turn. And she's actually getting a whole lot better. So hopefully soon she will be able to go down to level 2.
Nice.
Brad's really good at making people look like professionals. Perfect for a confident beginner. And when I say confident, I mean confident. He's doing really good right now, but he doesn't like to sit still, and he's a little forward sometimes. But we're just going on a trail ride. It's really nice to take horses on trail rides because it helps you evaluate them just there's a lot of people who are adopting who are looking for a trail horse, so it's good for us to know how they do on a trail. So these two have done really well so far, and Denali is going on his first trail ride today.
We're getting ready to go to auction. It's going to be kind of a different auction this time because there's only going to be 4 of us going. Tony and Jason are actually not going, and they're staying here to catch up on a few things. So it's going to be odd.
But we can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know we can handle it. It's just going to be odd.
Yeah. How many horses do you think we're going to get in auction?
I have told them 10.
What if it comes a little bit more than 10? How about 20?
That would be very difficult because we've got a lot going on. Because tonight we're doing an auction rescue, which is covert. We're doing another one this weekend, a covert one, and then on the 5th we're doing a great big one. So we got to try to stagger it out. We bring in a lot of animals, and I can't publicly fundraise for it. So that's a little difficult, but we do what we can.
How many horses?
Oh, I think it's going to be a small auction. I think we're probably going to get about 10.
10?
I'm going to say 12 tops. We got Big Red all hooked up. We just got to get the auction box and the halters and the lead ropes, and we'll throw a couple bags of shavings in there, and then we'll be good. Oof. You start making noises like that when you get older.
Keith and Angela are headed to an auction without us. They'll do fine. Kory's going with them. But yeah, I don't get to go because I have way too much work with boot camp right around the corner. So we got auction rescue today. This weekend, another covert auction rescue, and then a big auction rescue on the 5th. So it's going to be crazy for a little bit, but that's what we do, is we save horses.
Just got to auction. Can't take the cameras inside to film anything until after the auction's over. So we'll get some pictures and films and stuff after the auction's over. See you then.
Horse plus. I am grabbing a couple halters right now. We got 13 altogether. We got 2 that are potentially critical, and we're gonna give them some pain meds. Hold on 1 second, please. Please hold. So the 2 minis we got are super critical. One's just really emaciated. It looks like it possibly has some founder going on. And then we got this older paint mare that looks like, well, to me it looks like it has ring bone, but there's really no way of telling until we get back to the shelter and have the vet take a look. Right now I'm grabbing what we're gonna need for these guys. I am looking for, this is Flamixin. It is Banamine. Banamine is actually a name brand, so this is the same thing. And I'm gonna grab some Buteless too for the minis. We got everything we need. We're gonna get back there, get these guys situated, put them in their individual pens. We'll get them taken care of in the morning and then bring them back to the shelter. All right.
Saved 13 horses last night, and we're going to evaluate them and get them loaded up today and head them off.
It was our first auction without Tawny and Jason, and we have a really small team here, which feels really odd.
Very odd.
Felt very odd without them. I feel like our team did an amazing job.
Yeah, everybody did really good.
I wanted to save everything. Keith had to hold me back.
I wanted to save more, but we only have 1 trailer today.
And it's pretty packed, comfortably. Packed. I mean, it's
comfortable.
Not overly.
It's comfortable. The horses will ride comfortable, but yeah, we went overboard a little bit.
I think we did a good job. We had some little tiny minis that came in after we knew we were pretty good at that time, and they were really emaciated. So I was like, we can fit them, right? Right? We can fit them. So. Kory and Keith, they sat down, they worked it all out, and everybody's gonna ride comfortable. And we're definitely have a full load, and just different without Tawny and Jason and Haley and Macy here. Right. Just the 4 of us. It was great auction, but definitely just different.
It's definitely different. So, but I think we need to get moving so we can get these horses back to the shelter.
All right, let's get busy.
Let's go.
They told me that she was about 14. I think she's more like 20, but we're gonna have the vet take a look and double check that when we get back to the shelter. She's got ring bone, or it looks like ring bone to me down here, and when I feel it, it does feel hard like ring bone. It doesn't feel like fluid buildup. And I believe she's also got some arthritis up in her knees. We gave her some Banamine last night just to help with pain. We'll probably give her a little bit more this morning, and then we'll try to figure out who's all riding together and get them loaded up. This is Banamine. It is a painkiller for horses. Just help them be a little more comfortable. Oh, get that in there too. There you go. All right, and we get her in a pan and we'll get the next one out. Was that so awful? So awful. So this mare has DSLD. DSLD is pretty much when there's Spencer ligament in their hind end, or most of the time in all the feet. It kind of starts to, or it has been damaged, so when they step down, like I don't know if you can see the front feet right here, they're not completely straight up and they're not completely down. But then if you go to the back legs, the drop is a little more severe. Over time that can become worse and it can become painful.
It's been going pretty quick. We've got only 4 big horses left and then the 2 minis. So things are going pretty quickly.
I think this is the one that has the hind end that kind of rotates weird. I'm gonna walk her away so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Oh.
It's like cross steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is, the last one's Buddy, and this one is kind of cloudy in one eye. So I think they want to try and stay together.
This is 18 coming up next. I do see testicles. It does have an open sore on the bottom of its throat. It's gonna be pretty hot today. And it's gonna be even hotter in that trailer. So, I'm gonna pull some of this off of here.
Now, Kory, just you're not hurting her.
No, all I'm doing is pulling loose hair out. If it was hurting this horse, its ears would be pinned at me right now. It'd be showing discomfort, it'd be trying to get away.
You're basically just brushing her without a brush.
Exactly.
Pretty big.
You can see this hair is just coming out in clumps. So this is just the winter coat that hasn't been shed out yet. It was probably in a dry lot somewhere where it just wasn't getting any food. So it could happen. I think that she's at least 20. So this is the mini stud that we got yesterday. He's got really swollen testicles, it looks like. And one of his back legs is kind of stiff, almost like his joints have fused together somewhere in that leg. So this stallion was in this pen right here yesterday and it was trying to jump over. And it was getting up so high in that corner right there where its head and most of its neck was above that metal like hog wire right there. So it did get a few cuts from that on its face and on its neck here. Probably just from dragging back down on that. It's not very severe, but we're gonna have to figure out where he's going down at the shelter so he's not trying to jump fences. So we're gonna put this one all the way up in the front of the trailer. We have the divider up there where we can keep him separated from the rest of the horses. And then we have 6 that we're gonna run on into the middle portion. And then 4 large horses and 2 minis in the back. It went really well. We got everybody situated, found out who's gonna ride the best together. The ones that needed it got pain management, and we gave Cinchill to all of them except for 4 who were pretty much unhandled and acting like they didn't want us getting close to him. And we're actually getting out of here before 9 o'clock today, which is gotta be some sort of record. So we're gonna start heading back to the shelter.
Down at the auction, we got all the horses loaded. Separated out so there'll be a nice comfortable ride back, and we're getting ready to head back to the shelter. Should be there in about 3 hours.
We just got back to the facility. We're gonna be unloading these horses soon. We got our 3 critical ones in the back. or I think technically 4 critical ones in the back there. So I'm gonna start by pushing them right here in this. We'll get the other ones ran around, get them comfortable, and I think we're gonna stick the stallion in the stall and get his weight and everything done last so he's not around any mares and he doesn't try to jump over and breed any of them.
Just made it back from auction. Everybody made it safely here. We've got everybody unloaded in different pens right now, and we're going to start evaluation.
We're so excited. It was our first auction rescue without Tommy and Jason, which was a little bit intimidating. But we feel like we had a big success for our first auction. Team is safe, horses are safe, and
we had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. And I think they did a great job. With Horse Plus, we travel a lot. We mentor other organizations, and there's sometimes an auction rescue needs to happen. And up to this point, we really haven't just been like, okay, go do it. But they've graduated. They went to the auction and they rescued horses and came back, and we couldn't be prouder. So great job. Well, we're so excited. It was a lot of, we just really enjoy it. We enjoy it.
He's super stiff in the, I think it's the back left.
Okay, it's zeroed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's walking painful. Is it hard?
It's very hard. I mean, maybe he got stung by a bunch of bees.
Oh wow.
Or maybe it's cancer in there.
So he has a very enlarged testicle or both testicles. It's like rock hard to the touch. So he's definitely got either some swelling or cancer brewing in there.
He's been through multiple auctions because there's extra glue right here on his tail. But I think we should probably figure out what's going on with his leg, because that's kind of awkward.
I didn't feel anything wrong, but...
You want to watch him walk around?
Oh, his kneecap's out. Feel this. Put your hand.
I can see it. I can see it popping.
Put your hand right here.
It was popping a lot, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it.
Ooh.
Oh, buddy.
It popped when he was walking too.
Is that not fixable?
Extreme luxating patella is the term.
It almost looks like his, yeah, he's like turned outward. So this little mini, he has a luxating patella, which is when the kneecap is actually popping in and out every time he takes a step. And his leg is also turned outwards. So when he walks, he has like a very stiff gait. It looks like he's kind of walking with his legs spread out. It's very painful, visibly it's painful. And then he has a swollen sheath that could be possibly cancerous. So he has a couple things going against him, and right now he's in a lot of pain.
This one we suspect has ring bone and possibly some arthritis. She's about 20 years old. So for now, we're just getting weight, we're getting pictures. We'll do a further evaluation and see what we're doing with her.
We are about to take radiographs on this paint mare who may have possible ring bone.
She's in constant pain, and you think she's got ring bone because you get a bony formation that comes around the feet. But when we took an x-ray, it's not. It's worse than that. It's arthritis that's just trying to fuse the joint. And while it's getting fused, it just hurts all of the time. It looks like a bomb went off in there and just pulverized the bone, and it's all It's all just coming apart, but it's trying to reform and just fix the joint so it cannot move, so it won't hurt as much. So that's where we are, and it's never going to get better. You can't go in there and clean all that out and be expected to walk on it later anytime.
She's in pain.
She's in pain constantly.
Hi. Ooh, I don't know about that situation. That may or may not look like strangles, but we are gonna kind of keep him separate from everybody else because he does have some purulent discharge going on right under in the throat latch area. So just to be safe, we're gonna separate him once we're done with his intake. This is B12. It's kind of like a gigantic boost of everything, just to kind of spruce up vitamins, minerals, just an overall boost.
This little guy is getting gelded. He's very sleepy. Doc just gave him a sedative and he's getting ready to be gelded. We have him in the panels because he is a young horse, doesn't know a whole lot, and the panels can help keep him safe and he can recover in a pen.
So Doc, what's going on?
He's got a big hernia here. Do you feel the hernia right here?
Yeah. So his testicle is in the abdomen. He's a cryptor kid. And at his age, 100% should have dropped. Can I feel for one time from a different direction, Doc?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feel all you want.
How old is he?
We couldn't see the other testicle with me and Dr. Young. I was trying to, I made an incision, reached up in there, was trying to get Dr. Young to milk it down to me, and she couldn't find it. And as I was exploring the incision, we found a massive hernia on him. And plus, you'd have to close the hernia ring. So with that and his possible strangles and abscess in his throat latch, we decided it was time to put to sleep. I hate to say it, hate to do it, but it was probably best for him. After we euthanized, Dr. Young found it way up in his abdominal wall, and the hernia was over 6 inches, which would, if he'd been castrated on somebody's farm, his intestine would have spilled out and he'd have had a horrible death. So, oh man, you hate it for him, but sometimes you got to do the last act of kindness. So that's what we did.
We've got some swollen teats.
Holy cow.
We might be preggers.
Or she had it full. She's kind of thin.
Yeah.
Being that.
If she was, you know, for her to be kind of bagging up. Oh, she's got milk.
It's the only, and I'm vegan, but that's the only milk I've ever tasted was horse milk.
Really?
Yes.
Gosh.
They didn't come from a plant.
She's actively lactating. Wow. Yeah. She should be like ready to pop, unless she just fold.
Yeah.
That'd be the only reason that she's lactating.
Yeah, and
Poor baby.
Oh, it's bleeding. I just picked it out and it started bleeding there. The frog completely fell out.
Oh.
At least 25.
Dry eye disease can be primary or secondary, but it means that the eyes aren't producing enough tears, and so the cornea gets dried out. And what happens is the gelatinous tear fraction is too much, and then the aqueous tear portion isn't enough. And you can see how the cornea is just a little bit cloudy. It's a little bit more pronounced on this eye. It can be pretty painful as the cornea starts to dry out. They get prone to ulcers. This horse doesn't have any active ulcers. Yeah, it's hard to say.
I total lack of hoof care.
That could be a frog right there. Definitely have some
very long heels.
Smells like anaerobic bacteria in here.
We are about to take radiographs on this mini to see what's going on in her extremely overgrown hooves.
Well, we're not foundered a whole lot, which is amazing.
My biggest concern is the gas that extends past the coffin bone.
Well, I don't want to comment on lungs yet until I get a feedback from Dr. Young, but the hooves, total lack of hoof care, were real skinny. I didn't like the perfusion in the gums. That tells me there's some kind of circulation problem. He's got eye problems, and he's extremely old.
I hear a lot of inspiratory stridor on the right and then right caudal lung. I don't hear anything. It could be completely fibrotic.
That's what I got. Nothing on the bottom. The further you move up, you got.
So what are your thoughts on her?
Hey, if those lungs are gone, then this summer's going to be miserable for her.
So this is one of the first horses that we saw when we got to the auction last night. She is blind out of her right eye. She seems well adjusted.
She does also have some edema right in front of her teeth. Kind of, if you feel it, it's nice and squishy. What is that? Edema is just basically fluid filled. So she's got underneath, it looks like two little pockets of fluid that are kind of just dangling around under here. So we're gonna have the doctor look at her.
So this horse had a halter left on it for a long time. There's actually an indention there, and then she has permanent hair loss from the halter being so tight on her face, and then the white hair around it's kind of just from that as well. So somebody neglected her pretty bad. At one point this was probably like raw and open, and it's healed, and it's just there's no hair growing there. So don't leave halters on horses.
She's like moving the tube with her. So she has some sores, or it looks like maybe abscesses blue in her hooves. She's got one on the left side right at the coronary band, and then on the right side on the outside of the hoof wall. So she possibly had abscesses in both front feet, and they both blew.
Everything feels good here, but she is sort of swollen. She's stocking up.
She's just so painful.
Yeah, she doesn't want to stand on the side.
She does not.
Maybe she just stepped in something wet, but it looked wet when we picked up her.
Yeah. It's a rock catcher down there. Catching rocks. She's got a big abscess in there, and we're wondering if the abscess goes from the top here to the bottom. And she's got to keep weight evenly distributed because she's hurting on her right foot so much you can't hardly pick this one up. She's hurting on 3 feet that we know of, both front and her right rear, because it's swollen. We don't see any obvious injuries there, but there are a lot of hoof injuries throughout the years, is I guess one way to put it, because one of them's already healed up all the way. That was 3 or 4 years ago on that front one over there where Kim is. We're going to try to figure out why her back leg is so swollen. Well, we're trying to get some x-rays, and it says what you do is you push the button down part way and let it build up energy, and it'll say ready. And then sometimes it says x-ray, and you push the button down all the way, and after it beeps, you turn loose of the button. But it says here that it says, what did it say? It says,
prepped, ready, prepped.
And acquiring, but it doesn't get, we may have a communication between this and
It
that.
said 100% it was connected. Last week we sent it back because that wasn't charging. Now this isn't working. We were having excellent luck.
Well, what it says and what it's doing is not the same thing.
But we were able to get some x-rays, so we know some things. But it's it needs to go see the doctor itself.
Yeah, we're going to have to send her x-ray to the x-ray doctor.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those baby teeth.
Oh, where's the baby?
We got all baby teeth.
Wow.
Look at that.
Holy cow.
She's huge for a baby. Oh my god.
1 year old. That is my estimation.
Giant.
She's gonna be massive.
That is my estimate. I mean,
Okay, how tall is this horse?
typically when you just see all baby teeth, they're about a year to a year and a half.
So what is she?
She looks great. That's why we're so scary.
She's like 14.
That explains a lot.
Ready?
Ready as you'll ever be. You gotta get your nose through the actual opening.
She's like, I can fit.
Not that small. You are that young, but you're not that small.
No, is she dating? Or was she just...
Yes, we will.
Was she just being weird or is she...
Watch out.
Right now I'm just trying to teach her how to lead. She is a baby, so she's probably never had anybody mess with her before. So I'm just holding pressure till she takes a step, and as soon as she wants to take a step, I'm gonna release.
Oh, what the? Oh God. Okay. Get that.
This is why I'm holding the x-ray machine.
We need this away too. This is very expensive as well.
Let's not flip over, just in case.
I'm glad that she wasn't on the concrete just then. Then she could have broke her withers.
Rescuing a stallion can have challenges because they're very large animals and they have a mind of their own and they're just thinking about mares, and they can make them dangerous because they're not thinking about humans, they're thinking about and so we're going to try to get him gelded today.
We're gonna vaccinate while we're down. Taking advantage of the situation.
What are you giving him?
Microchipping him.
It went pretty good. He was a well-developed young man and probably had been used as a stud good bit. He's been torn up with all the mares around here. It is just going to be a continual problem, so we might as well go in and cut him today. And the sooner he can get to healing, we can get to working with him. So
Okay.
that's where we are. Usually after you castrate one, you go at least 30 days before you put him in with mares. Because that sperm, he had sperm in his cords. He was ready to rock and roll. I'm going to call it a comprehensive intake because we did a little bit more than we usually do. We castrated one and tried to castrate another. We usually wait a couple of weeks, but boy, he was wearing himself out. And we did it on a record hot day for Tennessee. I think they hit 101 in Nashville. So if it looks like everybody's fading today, we are.
I had a great time working with the team today. Dr. Scott and I always love working together, and it's fun to divide and conquer. I got to do a lot of physical exams, and it's always nice to have a second ears instead of eyes. And there were some much older horses and some that were really, really painful. So it's a hard part, but it's always really nice to help them have a peaceful end and not be in pain.
It was a plus having a smaller auction today because each horse that came through, we could kind of take our time, really do a full evaluation and give them everything that they needed in a slower pace. Everyone was kind of, had more time to take water breaks, and overall, I think it was just really smooth.
Y'all took water breaks?
We did have to give the last act of kindness to 5 horses Doc, do you want to tell us what we saw today?
One of the minis had a lung problem and massive foot problems. We got x-rays on it. We had an abscess that went all the way, pretty much all, it got into the coffin bone. And also had some KCS, that's dry eye. We think she was about 30. And then the other one, he had a massive scrotal swelling, and he had his patella, kneecap was dislocated. The massive scrotal swelling, Dr. Young looked at it after he was euthanized, and she thought maybe it was cancer. It was nothing good.
So it was about 6 or 7 times the normal size of a testicle, and post-mortem we looked at those cells and it looks very much like a large tumor had occupied most of the space, and so he probably had a lot of discomfort from that.
I think it had a lot to do with knocking his kneecap out. He was having to walk funny because it was hurting all the time, walk with his leg out. So.
And then we had a paint that had severe arthritis in both front feet. Super painful to walk on. She had even had drugs on board and was still extremely lame. And then we had one that had severe DSLD in both hind legs.
So we had a horse that was under 2 years old, and we thought we'd go in and castrate him today since the whole team was here, and we tranquilized him and only had one testicle, and we really try to get them out if we can. So we reached up in there, Dr. Young was trying to push it down to me, and I put my fingers in there, found a hernia at about 6 inches long. And if you go in and castrate them then, they can herniate their intestine, and that is not good. When you have a cryptorchid horse, you don't know whether it's where the kidney is. It can be anywhere. They develop right behind the kidney and they migrate down. They can be anywhere behind the kidney to the scrotum. It's where they're supposed to be.
The other thing that's hard about those cryptorchid cases, I used to see a lot of them surgically at UGA, is that they can get adhesions from scar tissue forming around the intestines, and then if they're prone to colic later on, then they get even worse colic, and often they have to get put down. So cryptorchid surgery is challenging in a lot of ways.
Here's another sad note. That is inherited. If you have a cryptorchid horse, don't breed it. We had an older clinic in another county over to the west. Had this client that had a beautiful paint horse when paint horses were all the rage. And he came in and said, hey, I think he's a cryptorchid. Do you think there's a problem? I said, yeah, it's inherited. 20 years later, after breeding him to countless mares, he comes in and says, yeah, hey, you were right about that horse. A lot of his colts are cryptorchid.
Out of all of our horses we intook today, most of them are turned out to pasture. We do have a couple that are still up, one in particular who is behind us. We do want to do an ultrasound on her tomorrow, so we will be doing further evaluations with her. But other than that, everyone is settling in and is going to be happy turned out to pasture.
Well, you did it. You went to the auction with Keith and you rescued a bunch of horses. You got them back. Intake went really well.
That's awesome.
Auction intakes are always exhausting, but it's 100% worth it because we change the lives for the horses we rescue and we give them a chance, and that's what it's all about.
Horse Shelter Heroes isn't going to be shown next week, and this week is going to be just a little episode because,
well, we have a lot going on, and if you follow the work we do closely, you know that we mentor other organizations. And this year we're going to be mentoring 4 organizations.
Here.
They're coming here. We've already gone to their facilities, we've checked them out, and they're in the running to receive a $15,000 grant and to learn how to pilot a full circle life horse shelter. But we've got a lot of stuff going on back here. We have the first part of the opening to this season 3 of Horse Rescue Heroes will be them coming to the facility, and we have some challenges for them that's going to help them through boot camp, because they'll be here for a whole week getting boot camp training, learning shelter practices, fundraising, a lot of things that there's great organizations out there, but they're struggling because they don't know how to fundraise or how to build a website or something. So behind us here, we're going to do a needle in a haystack challenge. You want to tell a little bit about that?
Well, I can't tell too much because I'll ruin some of the surprises.
True.
But there's some needles hidden in this haystack, And when they find it, it's going to give them a huge advantage in this game. And the game of mentoring.
Yeah, the challenge. And what's in this, the whole needle in the haystack, it's going to help them further down in the coming days of boot camp. So we will be returning to our normal episodes, but instead of keeping it a secret of who we're mentoring and everything like we did last year, you all will get to find out. So when we do release the episode, you'll get some sneak peeks into what is happening and a glimpse into kind of behind the scenes of season 3 of Horse Rescue Heroes.
The episode of Horse Shelter Heroes this week is going to be a little bit shorter than normal.
It's because our media team is
we've been
cramming.
swamped, yes. And for next week, we're not even going to have a normal episode of Horse Shelter Heroes because we will be filming Horse Rescue Heroes the entire week here at our facility. But if you're a member on YouTube and Facebook, I'll bet you get some sneak peeks.
Yes, if you're a member, we're going to get you some sneak peeks, and we are going to be going to an auction. We've got a lot of things going on, so and definitely keep us in your thoughts and prayers because we want to share the wisdom that we've learned over the last nearly 20 years of rescuing, so these other organizations can do amazing things in their states.
And there's a couple special guests coming down.
There is. We have Ponytails. Cindy with Ponytails is coming down. That's the first organization we mentored, and they are struggling on the brink of shutting down.
They were,
but they're not now. They're doing really good. And then also, we know you all fell in love with Kory from Colorado Horse Rescue Network. She is also coming here to help with the mentoring. So it's really neat to see this program growing over the years, and now the organizations that we have mentored are coming to help us so we can mentor even more organizations.
6 organizations here all next week, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild, and I'm so excited.
So it's gonna be awesome. So become a member so you can get some sneak peeks about what's happening. And again, we do apologize for missing out on a week, but what we're doing here is really important. And yeah, you're all gonna enjoy it once it comes out in January.